reign with him above.
Oh, how can I keep silent when my heart is filled with praise?
Redeemed, restored, beloved, adored, I'll exalt him all my days. All my days. Lift him up, lift him up. Lift the name of Jesus high. Lift him up, lift him up. Let his praises fill the sky. Jesus Christ with nail-pierced hand reaches out to every man. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Lift him up. Lift him up. Lift the name of Jesus high. Lift him up, lift him up. Let his praises fill the sky. Jesus Christ with nail-pierced hand reaches out to every man. Hallelujah to the Lamb. Lift him up. Lift him up. Lift him up. Lift up Jesus.
All right, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Pastor. And as I mentioned last week, this will be a pre-recorded edition of Coffee with Pastor, and it's another Toss Back Tuesday. And so we're going to be looking back at one of the episodes that we had earlier last year. As we mentioned already, last year we broadcast 150 episodes of Coffee with Pastor live. Last week, we did on Tossback Tuesday, went all the way back to the very first Coffee with Pastor. Today, we're going to go back to June 12th. On June 12th, I'm going to show just a part of the broadcast. We're not going to use the whole broadcast. But on that day, I introduced something that I have not done again and probably never will do again. But it was called Baking with Pastor. And I remember when I did the video, I thought, well, maybe there'll be other things that I can bake as well. And that lasted all of about, not very long. And kind of gave up the idea of baking with Pastor. But I'm going to go ahead and go back and show that episode again, Baking with Pastor. Back in June in the pandemic, I was trying to launch my baking show career, and not really. But anyways, we were making some kind of a chocolate chip cake with Lily's chocolate chips, and it was a keto recipe. And so for those of you that are watching, if you're doing keto, this is an excellent recipe for you. So without much further ado, if I remember correctly, I think it is about a 13-minute video. So this will be a little bit of a longer broadcast today. And I'm going to go ahead and show the video. Once that clip of the video is done, we will pretty much be signing off for today. So sit back. Hopefully you'll enjoy. I know some of you have seen it before. Maybe you missed it, and this will be your first time of seeing it. And if so, hopefully you'll get a laugh out of it. And it was kind of more of a comical thing than serious. So here we go. Good morning. Hey, I am coming to you from the church kitchen here. And I just got done recording the Coffee with Pastor. I shouldn't say recording, I guess we were live, Coffee with Pastor. And I am here to bake this afternoon. And last week I shared with you the recipe for Pastor's low-carb vanilla cake. It is a keto recipe. And I am going to do my best to try to make it here for two reasons. One, because I'm hungry and I want some cake. Two, because I want to show you I can do it. And I'm not sure if this is going to turn out to be a productive YouTube clip of how to make this cake, or if this is going to turn out to be a flat-out skit, or it may be a little bit of both. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but we're going to take a whirl at it. I have got all my ingredients pulled out here. I have got my butter is already melted from making it, and you're going to kind of be able to see what I'm doing. You're not going to be able to see a lot. Mostly because I don't want you to see how big of a mess I'm probably going to make on this side, so I've set up my flour bags here to kind of block the way. And but no, we will get things opened up here. So I'm going to follow the recipe. I've actually got my video clip from the recipe that I shared last week on Pastor with Coffee with Pastor. And I do have my baking powder. It is baking powder, not baking soda. And we're going to go ahead and try to make a cake. So we'll see how this goes. I'm a little concerned, though, I have to be honest. This is the size of my container I'm making the cake in. And this is my whisk. This is going to be quite the interesting setup here. I've got my tablespoon, I've got my teaspoon, yes, the teaspoon for the baking powder, and we're going to get ready to go. So first thing we're going to do, I contemplated whether or not to just make it and then do a voiceover afterwards explaining everything I did, and I decided not to. I decided to go ahead and to share with you live while I'm going here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my melted butter right here in this container. And that is looking good. 1 large egg. I don't know from which kind of rooster. Is it caged or uncaged? I don't know. And it was one of the cheap ones that they had at Aldi's probably. Anyways, so there is our 1 large egg. I have got my paper towels here. I have got a whole roll of paper towels here because I have no idea what kind of a mess we're going to make. So I've got the 2 tablespoons of real butter. I've got the 1 large egg. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to a 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And I believe somewhere here I thought I had a 1/2 tablespoon. Nope. I've got a teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon, and a 1/4 teaspoon. Why you would need to put a 1/4 teaspoon of anything in, I don't know. But I've got my tablespoon here, and we will try to make this 1/2. Yes, there we go. 1/2, maybe a little more. There we go. All right, this is 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now, those will be the only wet ingredients, I think that's what they call them, the only wet ingredients that we're going to use. So at this point, we are going to take our giant whisk in our small bowl, and oh my, I think I need to do it like there we go. Hey, that's working. You gotta just become the mixer on the end of it, because this giant whisk is just way too big for this container. All right, we have got that mixed in there, really good. Gonna just mix it in a little bit more. Make sure make sure the egg is all broken up and there's no bits of yolk left or anything like that. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. And now, for me, I save the baking chocolate chips. I'm gonna save those till last. And I'm going to kind of put those across the top because I like them to be there, to be visible. And so, anyways, we're going to go ahead and take some almond flour here. We're going to get this out of the way because we are done with that, more or less. All right, we're done with that. Okay, now we come to our almond flour. As one baker I heard say, this is the main ingredient of this dish. We'll need our tablespoon, because we are going to do a whole tablespoon of this. So let me go ahead and just wiped out here. Okay, and there we go. We have got a tablespoon of almond flour. We're going to add that right in there. And then we're going to take our coconut flour. Now, I do a mixture of the almond and coconut flour because I saw somebody else do it. Actually, I found that mixing the two, the almond flour, I think, this is just my opinion, I don't know for what that's worth, but it seems like the almond flour kind of maybe gives a little bit better substance. Well, the coconut flour adds a little bit more flavoring to it. So we have our 1 tablespoon of almond flour, our 1 tablespoon of coconut flour. We need 2 tablespoons of Splenda. So I'm going to go ahead and raid the coffee Splenda here. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of Splenda. And if it spills over a little bit into the container, that's fine. Just a little bit extra means a little bit sweeter. All right, so there's that. Our Splenda is in. And I'm missing, baking powder. Baking powder has become my Achilles heel with this recipe in the kitchen. All right, we need 1 tablespoon. Teaspoon. No, teaspoon, folks, not tablespoon, teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. Go ahead and shake that up there. Get that put in. Okay, now all of our ingredients should be in, right? We did almond flour, coconut flour, baking powder, vanilla extract, egg, butter. I think we're all in except for the chocolate chips. So we'll get our giant whisk back. Oh, I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm getting ready to mix it. And the baking powder I just put in really held its form to the spoon. And I was getting ready to stick this in here, and I literally thought that the eggshell, I just looked at the eggshell, then I looked in here, and it looked like a cracked up eggshell was stuck in my thing, and I thought the whole thing was ruined. But it's just the baking powder, so we're good. So we're going to go ahead and try to mix this in here. We're going to become the mixer again, and it should come to a nice thick consistency. Nice thick consistency, I hope. This isn't working as well as it did with the liquid ingredients. Oh, there we go. Just get down a little bit more. And it should kind of start to form something that should be able to be described as cake batter. I hope. So, we can kind of see it's kind of stringy, kind of there. I don't know if I'm close enough or if it's big enough to be able to see. That's pretty good consistency, at least by my opinion. That may not be by someone else's opinion, I don't know. But in my opinion, in baking this thing, that looks like pretty good consistency. So, we're going to go ahead and just beat her up a little bit more. And personally, I do not like the batter. So, I'm not going to lick the beater. All right, now, 1 serving of Lily's chocolate chips is 24 chocolate chips. Am I right? Is that right? Let's double check this. Yes, 24 chips. So, you may think this is tedious, but I literally sit here and count out how many chocolate chips, because I don't want to be shorted, but I don't want to go over. Plus, these are too expensive to have to go over on them. So, this bag here, just for information purposes, this bag of baking chips costs right about $6.50, $7. And it is sweetened with stevia. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, look at that, I was a little short. So that's why you don't just grab a handful and drop them in. I would have lost out on a whole whopping 6 chocolate chips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And those we will put back. Alright, so now this is what I have. This is what it looks like. I'm going to swing around here really quick to the camera and let you look. And that is what we're looking at inside the bowl. 24 chocolate chips, our cake batter. Now, we're going to take this, and I'm a little nervous about popping this in the microwave, only because I've not done it here at the church before, so I have no idea how long this microwave here would take. I'm going to clean up my bowl here in just a second. And we want the presentation to be nice and neat and everything like that, so we're just going to wipe that out. Okay. And we're going to pop it in here. 45 seconds is what it took at home. This is a little bit bigger microwave. I'm going to shoot for 40 seconds here. And let's see what that does. So, That's baking. At this time is when you should do the cleanup, but usually because of the anticipation of wanting to see what that's going to look like, who does cleanup at this point? We all stand here and we stare at the microwave. But since I'm on camera, I'll take this moment to remind you about our coffee mugs for Coffee with Pastor. If you'd like a coffee mug, they are $20 is what we're looking at for the coffee mug, and so that is what is going on with that. You got to figure out something to say during this time. And I should have brought a coffee mug with me so I could be like, hey, look, here's the coffee mug. Anyways, and by the way, notice I'm not wearing an apron, okay? I will just dust myself off when we get done, and that doesn't quite look like what I wanted it to look like. No, not done. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw it in for another 15 seconds here. Baking with Pastor is definitely trial and error. So far this is not looking like what I wanted it to look like. Okay. Well, I have something here that looks like a cake. I'm going to bring it around and show you. And I think it's going to be good. I have no idea, folks, where my chocolate chips went because there's a couple on the side, but they are no longer in the top. So much for the visual aspect of that. But it really looks like it's going to be good. I hope it's actually going to be good. We're going to find out here in just a second. That is still pretty hot. Grab a fork here. Drop the drawer for forks. Tell how much Pastor works in this kitchen. All right, I've got a fork. I'm looking for my chocolate chips. Where have my chocolate chips gone? I think yeah, they did. My chocolate chips all sunk to the bottom. Well, you may want to mix in your chocolate chips in the batter, and maybe that will go a little bit better. Oh, here's a chocolate chip. I found one. All right. That is actually really good. So, there you have it. Pastor's low-carb vanilla cake. Again, I'm not sure if this was a productive video or more of a skit. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time on Pastor's Kitchen, hey, have a great rest of your day. All right, definitely some memories back in there with that from this summer, and hopefully you enjoyed that. Like I said, a little bit longer broadcast overall with that video in there. So, hey, hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. God bless. Have a great day.